Good morning, guys. It is the 1st of July today, and I thought we were well overdue for a full garden tour. So I'm gonna get that started by showing you my peppers and chilies. I've got flowers on them, and I've even got, you can see just there, the start of my very first chili. And that one is a cherry chili, so it's not a hot one. I've been self-pollinating them, and hopefully if the weather picks up, because it's been raining and really overcast and quite cool over the last 48 hours, so the garden's had a really good drenching. But if the weather picks up, hopefully I'll get these outside so they can have some proper sunshine. But yeah, British summer is a bit of a standing joke, and this year, apart from the heat wave we had a couple of weeks ago, it's horrible. So if you're a vampire and you want somewhere that's cloudy, come to England. But anyway, it is a bit breezy, so I'm going to try and keep my back to the wind. But I'm going to start off around here and show you my cucamelon, because that has really taken off. Now, because the main stem had snapped off, well, snapped in the wind, it's thrown out loads of side shoots, and there's about 4 side shoots that are growing now, and you can just see behind this leaf the startings of the first flowers that are going to come up, and that tiny little round blob will be the cucamelons when they get pollinated. So I'm really happy that that's taken off. I finally planted out my Chinese chives. I had quite a few seeds left, so I've shoved them in, but because it's been quite cool, nothing's sprouted yet. My potatoes are doing better. Not potatoes, tomatoes. I decided to chop some of the lower leaves off because they were so overgrown. I couldn't get to water them properly. But I think I know why it is so dense, the foliage. As soon as I spotted some fruit forming, I started feeding everything. And I shouldn't have done that, because what that does is you end up producing a lot of foliage and not flowers. And we want the flowers because we want the fruit. You can see one just there. Now, it's the first time I've grown these. These are Roma, which is an Italian cooking variety. I am getting some fruit set, but not a lot. So I'm going to stick with it. Because it is my first year growing them, I'm not used to it yet. So once I get used to it and how they grow, and you know, I'll know what to do better, because there's only so much you can read up on. But having first-hand experience, I think, is the best thing for growing stuff. So it's going to be trial and error, but I'll definitely grow them again next year. Now then, you'll notice I put a bit of a lattice frame so that my honeysuckle can grow a little bit better. And I've started getting, I think you can see better on here, the first signs of flowers coming, which I'm really pleased about. I didn't think we'd be getting them this year. One of my rose bushes have died. Never mind. Oh, windy. And that one's really taken off. And then, look at these. Can you see how many I've got set there? That is absolutely amazing. Now, I've grown these red alert tomatoes, which are a salad tomato, before. I've grown them every year, but that is the most I've seen. I actually counted, and I've got 9 trusses. No, 9 of these. And this one's actually a double one. And I've counted, and so far I've got 19 fruit set. And I've got plenty of flowers still on them. So that's going to be a bumper crop this year. But again, it's all going to depend on the weather. Because obviously you need heat and light to get them to ripen. But behind, masses of flowers. Again, it's going to be an absolute bumper crop this year. What else? Yeah, my comfrey's really kicking off now. Now, because I know how big comfrey can get, I think I'm actually going to split them into separate pots, so they've got a pot each. I've got some 20-25 litre pots. I'd rather not stick it in the ground. I'd rather have it in a pot that I can move around and be flexible with the space. I had a bit of a scare on yesterday with my... Oh, windy, sorry. Turn it back a minute. I had a bit of a scare on yesterday because the last 48 hours have been ideal conditions for blight. I noticed a couple of leaves on these Charlottes. Oh, really sorry. Can you see? They're getting a bit spotty at the bottom. Now I don't know if that is blight or not. Got a funny feeling it could be. But I've always had blight on my potatoes and tomatoes, but usually the end of July, August time, when the plants have started to die off and when the tomatoes have been setting and have been ripening, that's usually when I've started to get it. Now if it is blight, I would have expected that to have, spread really rapidly. And it hasn't. Not what I'm used to anyway, so I'm keeping my eye on that. But if that is, that means all the foliage is going to have to be cut off. And these, there's 7 tubs of Charlotte. They've only been in 50 days, so I am not going to get any potatoes on them at all. But the International Kidney, which is the rest of them, I've got 20 pots of those. They would be ready. I would get some return from those. But anyway, I just want to show you, if it stops blowing for a minute. Don't know if you can see, I've got like a dent in the middle. Now that was from a cat. Got chased up over that fence. Now normally they get up on top of the fence and run along it. But no, it dove straight over, landed in there. And you can see I've got a few canes. I had a horizontal support down there and it collapsed it. And then got out that way. Little monkeys. I love cats, absolutely adore cats, but not when they're tramping all over me potatoes. Anyway, I shall try and negotiate down here. Can you see them? Can you see my corn? Massive! Keep checking every day for signs of the corn, the cobs, and I haven't really seen anything yet. They are starting to bulk up around the leaves, so it shouldn't be too long now. They've been getting a good drenching and a good feeding. Ideally, I don't know if you can see right down there where the roots are popping out of the soil, they really could do with covering up. But if I try reaching down there, I'll end up toppling over. Now my onions are starting to bulk up. You can see down there. They're just starting to bulk up now. I've been checking them, but I haven't seen any of them running to seed. But with this cooler weather we're having, I don't want them going dormant and then going to seed. can just about see my garlic at the back. That's not doing that great, but I think it's because it's so shaded because of these potatoes. I keep expecting a chap called David Bellamy to pop out and say I'm coming through the undergrowth. Now, David Bellamy was a botanist who appeared on children's TV programmes when I was growing up. And for those of you not native to the UK, he's basically an even hairier version of Grizzly Adams, if that's possible. So if you ever get the chance to Google David Bellamy, you'll see what I mean. Lovely chap, absolutely fascinating to watch. So yeah, my sweet corn is really, really doing well. But this is a variety called Mini Pop, which is specially grown for immature baby sweet corn. You don't allow it to get pollinated and fertilised, and you mainly use them in stir fries. My beetroot, I've already picked a few of them. They're about ping pong ball size now, so it won't be long before I'm picking them, but they've really, really come on. The leaves were looking a bit sickly a few weeks ago, but no, they've done really well. Then my brassicas, don't know if you can see through the netting. I can't see anything on screen because the sun's shining behind me now. First row is cabbages. They're really starting to pick up. And I've got Brussels. And then I've got some purple sprouting broccoli. I've got another row of cabbages, which are starting to form leaves in the centre and curling round, hearting up I think they call it, but got still a long way to go with those. And then my kale, curly kale. So I'm going to start picking them soon. And then my swede, I need to start earthing them up a little bit because quite a bit of the roots are showing. And then around here, my beans have come through. Now these are Scarlet Emperors. I put 6 to a pot and that pot's got 7. I've got 1, 2, 3 come through on that one so far, but again, because of the cooler temperatures, it's slowed it down with the germination. And that one I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, I've got one poking through there. So yeah, really pleased about that. Let's have a look. Ooh. Now my cucumbers are really taken off. Some of the side shoots are coming up through now, so they're trying to climb up these poles, but it's looking really cramped, especially with the peas behind. And these peas aren't really doing very well. I'm getting flowers and I'm getting pods, but a lot of they're really slow, really slow. Been getting plenty of water and there's not a lot of caterpillar damage on them, not like the others. But some of these pods, they're only about that big, and I'm only getting about 2 peas out of them. So I don't know whether to cut my losses and pull all them out and give the cucumbers a chance. So I'm going to play that by ear. I'm going to give them another week or so, see how they do. But I mean, there's a few pods through there coming up. I'll have to see. That's the only problem. I think I've cramped things in a bit too close together this year. I was in such a rush to get things planted up. So lessons learned. These are more Roma tomatoes. Again, I am getting some of the fruit set, but not a lot. I mean, that one's really opened up. You can see a fruit just there. but it doesn't look like it. I mean, these flowers here, look, I don't know, I mean, that looks like the start of one, but that one hasn't been pollinated. Ooh, hello spider. So yeah, not great, but again, it's the first year I've grown them, so I'm not going to give up on them just yet. It's just a steep learning curve, gardening. And where is it I've seen? On one of the stems, I mean, you can actually cut a stem off, plant it in some soil, and it'll start producing roots. There it is. I'm going to show you this one. Ooh. Oh, hey, oh, wobbling all over. Can you see those white nodules bursting out of that stem? They're roots. Now I could cut that off, plant it in soil, and that'll put down roots. I've never known them be so high up on a stem, because that's, what, 1.5 foot away from the base of the plant? Weird. Oh look, another fruit. It's weird calling tomatoes fruit. Oh, right, now let's have a look down here. Now my other crystal apple ones, I am getting flowers at the bottom. Don't know if they're still there. Let me just have a quick poke around. I was oh look, you see, loads of flowers. And I've got a start of one there, if it's been pollinated. And got another one down there. So might actually be getting some fruit off that. Sorry, cucumbers off that. Carrots are a bit overcrowded, well not overcrowded, they're getting a bit swamped. Guess my green beans, I put 2 varieties in. That side is Canadian Wonder and that side is Ferrari. Now we did a taste test and we've all agreed we actually prefer the Ferrari. That's more of a round bean. And if I can find one out. Oh, there we go. Right, that one is more rounded. And the Canadian one, let's find a bigger one so I can show you what I mean. Oh. It's really hard to tell what's stem and what's bean in amongst this lot. But anyway, these Canadian ones, it's a flatter, more like a runner bean. No, I can't see any mature ones. I'll find, you watch, once I stop recording I'll find one. Can't really tell with that one, hasn't flattened itself out yet. But yeah, we've already had one really good picking off this. But again, I put too many plants together, so they're competing for space, that's why they're so bushy. So again, another lesson learned. My Rab 60 has started flowering, but you can eat the flowers and the stems and the leaves. Ideal for picking now. But when they first started going, you see all this damage, that's flea beetle damage. And I've also seen a lot of moth caterpillars around as well. They seem to have laid eggs on everything, even the tomatoes and the potatoes, which I thought the foliage were poisonous. So peas are almost coming to the end of their production life. They got so decimated by caterpillars. I mean, we've had loads of peas off them though. And I really wish I'd planted a lot more, but the seeds just were that old, a lot of them just didn't germinate. Let's have a look. More swede. Ooh, way up. Looks like we've had a lot of things eating in there. I'm gonna have to get in and find out what it is. But again, I've had caterpillars in there. They're managing to crawl up under the net somewhere on this end. Carrots doing really well. Can barely see my leeks because we all got pushed over. Parsnips are doing absolutely brilliant. I don't know if you can see through this net, but yeah, my parsnips have really done well. Now I've put a row of spring onions and they're doing so poorly, but again I think it's because they're a little bit shaded. But I've never done well with spring onions for some reason. You'd think they'd be really easy to grow, but mine just don't seem to want to bulk up. Rhubarb's doing really well. Probably noticed, well, apart from that tray from the other day, I've actually had a bit of a tidy up, had a sweep, got rid of that mound of rocks. So I had a bit of a tidy up. But yeah, broad beans are doing really well. We've had about 3 or 4 real good meals out of this. I've cut some of the foliage back, just so I can see where I'm picking. So I think another 2, maybe 3 pickings and they'll all be ready to be pulled up. They'll have done the job. But I've got a bit of a been thinking about next year, and I'm not happy with the layout, so what I'm going to do is completely change it. Now this bed is 2 planks high, it's a metre across and it's 7.2 metres long, and that includes the bed with the Sarpo Mira potatoes in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the top layer off, so I'll reduce it down to 1 layer. I'm going to have this bed, and along this wall, this bed is going to be for my tomatoes and my cucumbers, and I'll still grow them. Some years I'll grow them in pots, some years I'll grow them actually in the bed itself. I'm going to allow either a 40 or 50 centimetre walkway gap, and then I'm going to put another bed from about here, so that'll be 1 metre wide, but that's going to be a double bed, and that'll go all the way down to where the shed is, and that'll be about 7.5 metre, and I'm going to split them into three beds, and then I'm going to allow another gap of about 40 centimetre for a walkway, and then I'm going to have another bed going down. Now the first 3 metres lengthwise are going to be 1/2 metre long, because my garden's a bit of a wedge shape. Starts off at 4.3 at the narrow end, 4.3, and then it goes to about 5.3. So at this end, the 3 metre is going to be 1/2 metre wide, and then it's going to be the last 5 metre is going to be 1 metre wide. The small bed's going to be a dedicated strawberry bed, and then the rest is going to be for rotational crops. There'll be another walkway, and then right here I'm going to have an 8 metre long bed up against this fence, and it's going to be 1 metre wide, and that's where my potatoes are going to go. So even though this bit is shaded, it just means that the potatoes will take a couple of weeks longer to grow. But I think that's going to be the best layout. And it'll mean I'll have more bed space, if you like. It also means I can actually grow more potatoes, funnily enough. Because the pots that I grow them in, these are 30 litre tubs. I can actually fit 2 in a 1 metre wide bed. And I think I worked out I can put about 32 tubs. 34 tubs, I think it is. So yeah, that's my plan of action for next year, but I can't really do anything until these beds start clearing and the crops are picked. It's going to mean a lot of work over winter, but I think that's the best way going ahead. It means I'll have 5 dedicated rotational crop beds. I'll have a cucumber and tomato dedicated bed, but because it's in pots I can change the soil and the compost every year, so I won't get any disease build up. And the same with the potatoes. And then I can get a strawberry bed set up, because we haven't done strawberries this year and we've missed them. We do like our strawberries. So yeah, that's the tour of my garden, and that's my plans for next year. So I'm hoping to do more carrot and potato reveals soon. I hope we get the kids involved, because they love doing that. So I'll see you guys on the next one. So take care, happy gardening, and ta-ta for now. Bye!